Hi, everybody. Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology video podcast here. You can check the audio podcast out here on YouTube and on all the major podcast players. But let's jump in and look at the chart for this week. We're going to begin with Tuesday because that's when the big action starts. We're right on the edge of it. The big thing that we're looking for is this aspect between Mars and Jupiter. That happens tomorrow. We'll be talking about that here in just a second. But to set that up, first of all, today the moon moves into Sagittarius. That's the only exact aspect really that we have in the chart today. But structurally, we're looking at Venus opposite Saturn, and then this big aspect between Jupiter and Mars, and then also Sun, Neptune, Uranus. We'll get into all of that here in just a minute. Now, let's roll on to the big day, Wednesday, and this is when the fireworks happen. That exact aspect is at 11:21 a.m. Eastern, and that is, you can see right here, well, and we're almost there, see 36 and 39, but there it is, Mars and Jupiter conjoining, and if you've been feeling the tension in the air, this is exactly why. It gets thicker, but this is the culmination of it. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're baking in this all the way through the week, and it's going to continue on into next week as well. We've been there. We've been there for about a week, but it is definitely thick energy. The next aspect is Thursday afternoon, and that is when the moon enters Capricorn. I've got a morning chart set up here, but this will happen in the afternoon. Moon leaves Sagittarius, goes into Capricorn, and that is a trine aspect to Mercury before the moon leaves Sagittarius. So it trines Mercury right there, right on that line. That's a positive aspect, and that's the last lunar aspect before leaving for Capricorn from Sagittarius. That's a positive. So anything that you get done back from Tuesday when the moon entered Sagittarius is, according to Steve Forrest's little lunar system in the Book of the Moon, chapter 4, is a positive. So you got a good day for that. Now, the next thing, it keeps coming. No, it keeps coming. Fun and games all week. So Friday, we have the square between, really it's this, but the exact is between those two guys and Saturn right there. So there's a square. That brings that tension between, if you want to go to the Hellenistic camp, the two great malefics, Mars and Saturn, the malefic planets. Next week, Jupiter and Venus square. They're not quite there yet, but that, of course, makes this a T-square. So that's what is adding to the component of this energy. And that's why the whole week I put in the audio podcast that Cryptodamus, who is Robert Weinstein on Twitter, said that, I forget exactly the words that he used. It's in the audio podcast, but he said it is one heck of a week. Time to pop some popcorn. This is exactly why. Now, on Saturday, we set up, and I want to get over to, let's see if I can show you. Well, we're almost there. But Saturday afternoon, Saturday afternoon at about almost 5 o'clock Eastern, the moon enters Aquarius. And that's significant because on Monday we have a full moon in Aquarius. But there's the setup for it right there, boom. And of course, as it does, it's going to be kissing Pluto right on the lips as it goes in the door. It's a fast kiss. Sometimes when these slower planets change signs, they say they kiss on the lips. That's a long, drawn-out kiss. But this is just the moon. It's hi-bye. I got to go. But got work to do. But that's that. Now, this just keeps coming. It literally just keeps coming. Let's go to Sunday morning, early. Mercury squares Uranus. So here's Mercury over here in retrograde. Exact square Monday morning, 5:46 a.m. Monday morning. That's a square there. So that just adds to the continued energy of the week. And while just after that happens a wee little bit, then the sun conjoins Mercury. So really, if you think about it, there you go. There's another square. So we just had this one. We've got this one. This one's coming to Jupiter. You see all that energy? Then all of this is That's what's going on this week. I mean, it is like a picture here is really truly worth 1,000 words. And that's what we've got going on there. Monday, let's go to that. This is the big day. And this is like TMI. This is too long to read. But 1:52 in the morning, the first aspect we have is the Venus-Jupiter. So there's this one first. That square right there. The next one is Mercury opposite Saturn. So there's that. Or let's see, Mercury is opposite... I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Venus is opposite Saturn. Scratch that. So there's that one. We talked about that yesterday. There is that one. Mercury's okay. It's just there. So this is going to be quite the drawing by the time we get finished. All right. The next one is at 12:45 Eastern, all times Eastern here. 12:45, there is the Sun-Uranus square. There's that one. And then Jupiter-Saturn, there's that one, is at 5:46 p.m. And to cap off the day, at the end of the day, the moon leaves Aquarius and enters Pisces. That's Monday. Wow. Does not a picture paint 1,000 words? So, how do we stay on our highest timeline with all of this? Well, look, for one, the collective is going to be kind of going crazy. Things could happen, I don't know. But go back to January 2020 when we had the big Saturn-Pluto conjunction in the sky, January 12th. It was 2.5 weeks before the World Health Organization declared the pandemic. So it may not be this week. It may be this week. As I'm recording this, we don't know, but things are in the mix for sure. How we are going to stay on our highest timeline is that look at some of this energy. First of all, now okay, lots of squares, lots of oppositions. In fact, all of it. But let's look at how we can use that energy. This is super powerful creating energy right here. This is super powerful. We have the sun connected to it. So maybe there's a little bit of a hurdle. Maybe there's something to clear. And if you clear, you've got fire. I mean, these are two fire planets, and this is a fire sign, and this is a fire planet. So you've got all that fire working in to your advantage. So a great time to start things. But what we are going to do, being high timeline people, is we are going to be careful what we say. Jenny Geyer is going to join us on the podcast Tuesday of this week and give her thoughts on this on the audio podcast. So be sure to catch that. But that's one powerful aspect. And then, of course, we have hopes, dreams, and ambitions. Let's not forget that about Uranus. Our goals, what we want, technology. It rules astrology. Have you been thinking about getting into an astrology business? Well, same thing, maybe a little bit of a hurdle, but if you get into it and it works, you've got longevity in the mix. See, all of this is tied together. So we have very positive elements of how we can play this. And the other thing that we can do is, because we kind of know the end of the game, and we know that this is just passing energy. I mean, as far as this goes, Mars is going to move on pretty fast. Mercury is, really moving fast. Venus is really moving fast. The sun, 1 click per day, 1 degree per day. So all of this is going to be shifting away, and eventually we'll move into trines next, where all those squares will be trines, sextiles, trines coming up. So we have good energy on its way. It's just a matter of staying firm and solid and holding the space for our friends, coworkers, family, neighbors, etc., who are maybe experiencing this stronger and more sensitively than most. So that's what I would suggest is, on the highest timeline, keep your feet firmly planted. Yes, there is crazy stuff going on, but this too shall pass, and it is going to pass pretty quickly. And then we'll be on to the next eclipse and then into the fall. And I mean, it really doesn't let up, but look, we know that we are helping the collective as this separation of timelines takes place. And the reason I say that is because that right there is baking at 0 degrees Aquarius. That's the one that's going to transform the next 20 years when Pluto comes back and finally moves in there for good. Till 2045, that's going to be transforming the world. And then we've talked about these outer planets changing signs. Neptune and Saturn will be leaving Pisces, moving into Aries in 2026. Uranus also will be leaving Taurus and moving into Gemini. Jupiter will be leaving Gemini and moving into Cancer. Is there anybody else that wants to leave? While you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outer planets changing signs within about 2 years. Ray Merriman says in his database he's never seen this ever. And I think their database goes back to like 6,000 BC or some crazy way long ago. So nothing, forget about modern history, nothing in our history that we possibly could have ever experienced this in that short of a period of time. So we are living our highest timeline, and we are aware of these things, and we're going to be the ones holding the space to say, hey, there are better times ahead. And what is being transformed, if we all could live collectively higher in love and gratitude and peace and joy and creativity and all the high helping each other, selfless service kinds of things, what kind of a planet would this be? What if we cleaned the place up? What if we served each other? I mean, everybody, like highest, lowest, right? Like we are separating. Up here, how do you get in the club? You live high energies. And what if this world could be like that? I think it would be amazing, don't you? So let's help it get there. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.